What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Rollie Rate Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Moyer. Hope you're doing well whenever you are listening to this one. What a weekend in Nashville. Wrapped up like 2 hours ago. It was a late one. The rain all weekend really affected the schedules. Had a lot of late finishes to some of these races, the truck race and the cup race. But shout out to all the fans that chose to stay at the track to watch the racing, and also all the fans that chose to stay up and watch the racing. It was a fun finish, a great finish to this weekend for the Cup Series race. So let's get right into it. Denny Hamlin wins the Nashville Cup Series race, the Cracker Barrel 400. Denny Hamlin's first win at Nashville, Toyota's first win at Nashville in the NASCAR Cup Series race. I know Denny said he really wanted this one, and what a finish. It was 3 wide going into turn 1, the final lap for Jugas Racing. Denny on the bottom, Bell in the middle, Chase Briscoe up top. Bell drives it in deep in the middle, overdrives it, puts the 19 in derriere, and Denny, like he said he rolled the bottom. Had really good turns 1 and 2 and cleared the 20. The 20 had one more opportunity in turns 3 and 4, but there was just nothing there. Denny easily cleared the 20 there in 3 and 4. Again, technically, to get the win at Nashville Super Speedway. Denny Hamlin said he has talked about how he's struggled on these restarts. He's not been the best restarter. Well, that restart with 4 to go gave him the shot. He was in the second lane. Briscoe was on the outside in the front row. Bell was the leader on the bottom. Denny just had a really good turns 1 and 2 with 4 to go and got to Bell's inside, and then that's what then allowed Hamlin to race Bell side by side and then give him the opportunity on the last lap to then have Bell overdrive turn 1 and then puts the 19 in derriere, and then that gives Denny allowing him to clear the 20. Incredible job by Denny, incredible finish. The fans that stayed up got their money's worth. This is Hamlin's 3rd win in the season. This is his 2nd points win of the season. Won Las Vegas and on the day. The All-Star race was a exhibition race, no points. Just a really cool trophy and $1 million. Denny now cuts his lead on Tyler Reddick to now 97 points back. So that's a big win there. Denny makes a mistake at the start of the race. Literally is the pole sitter. Qualifying got rained out. Start lamp is set by a metric. Well, Denny just launches before the restart zone and gets up to a massive lead. Well, NASCAR penalizes him for it. He has to go down pit road. Well, by the start of stage 3, Denny was back to leading. But Denny was not the best car. Bell was the best car. But late race restart, Denny executed. It's just spectacular what Denny is doing. And I don't want to sit here and just keep talking. I know we talk about this all the time, but it's just, Denny is literally the best he's ever been. He's definitely the most relevant he's been. Now, a lot of that could be because of the talent. A lot of the talent that Denny started his career racing is now retired. So now it's allowing Denny to be the guy. But every weekend, Denny is the guy. Every track he goes to, it's like, this is a track that Denny can run well at. And it also helps that Denny's probably driving for a team and manufacturer that is hitting on all cylinders and probably has the fastest car every single week. Also got to think about the pit crew. They're hitting their stride. This is Denny Hamlin's 62nd victory. He's 1 win away from tying Kyle Busch for, I believe, would be 9th all time. That could be a very special win for Hamlin, knowing, what has happened with the passing of Kyle Busch, the things that Denny has recently said about Kyle Busch when he was as a teammate. We're going to Michigan next week, and Michigan could be a very special win for Denny Hamlin. We'll see about that one. What a win for Denny. This is one of those wins where Denny probably, Martinsville, he dominated, didn't win. Kansas was leading coming to white flag. Caution comes out. Doesn't win that one. He stole a win here that he probably should have had earlier in the year. And you really just feel bad for Bell. But Bell took a full responsibility for it. Coming to a white flag, Denny is side drafting the 20. Here comes the 19 with a run. We thought 19 was going to push the 20. He doesn't. 19 goes to the outside of the 20. It's 3 wide contact with teammates. Bell over drives turn 1. Hamlin rolls the bottom. The 20 puts 19 in dirty air, and then the 11 clears the 20. And then the 20 has one more shot going into turn 3 before the last lap. Gets maybe a bumper to Hamlin's outside, but there's just nothing there for the 20 to make a move or even get side by side to side draft him. And Hamlin gets the win. Really exciting finish. Those final 4 laps, Hamlin and Bell side drafting there. And then the move with the 19. 19 got put in dirty air there. Feel bad for Briscoe. Probably, maybe, I think 19 was talking about, Briscoe was saying he was going to go to the bottom and make it 3 wide at the bottom. But the 11 kind of covered it really well. So the 19, that wasn't an option for him. Big scary crash at the end. We'll talk about there with Tyler Reddick, but luckily he was okay. Jiggers Racing is showing that they're the team to beat. They got the fastest cars. A 1-2-3 finish at Nashville. Of course, you're going to have some disappointed drivers because they want to be the one to win. But they still had really good days. I also think it's kind of cool to have that cool of a finish and then have 3 of the most recognizable sponsors out there. Progressive, we know having commercials they have, so recognizable. And DeWalt is one of the more well-known sponsors that have been in the sport for a long time. One of the most well-known tool manufacturers. And then Bass Pro Shops. It's Bass Pro Shops, the largest outdoor store, I think, in the world. So many stores. You can't get bored in the Bass Pro Shop. So great to see recognizable sponsors up front too. Good TV time for the sponsors too. And what a partnership with Progressive and Denny Hamlin. The amount of success they have had. I always love when you get to see a new sponsor, and especially a sponsor as recognizable as Progressive, get another win. That's good. That's really cool. So yeah, incredible finish. Now this race, a lot of tire strategy, a lot of brake failures. I don't know where you go, but I'm not going to focus so much on the tire strategy because a lot of the tire strategy and what happened didn't really play an impact on who was racing for this win. Stage 1 was won by A.J. Allmendinger. The way the 2 tire strategy calls were played out allowed Allmendinger to get the stage victory in Stage 1. That was impressive. Held off Ryan Blaney in a 1-lap shootout. But early in Stage 1, on lap 72, we saw the 88 of Connor Zilch blew a brake rotor going into turn 1. That was the story of the week, of the race. We talked about brake rotors, brake issues, and I just felt bad. It was a big hit for the 88, but you just feel bad for Connor Zilch because it's just another disappointing finish for him, and just momentum-wise, he also probably just feels down on himself because just nothing was going. But you do got San Diego coming up, and some tracks that could hopefully maybe suit track house with, Michigan's always been a place that, they can run fast at. Ross has run well there before. And then we also had later on another caution with 9 to go in Stage 1. The 1 of Ross Chastain blew a brake rotor. 2 Trackhouse cars blew a brake rotor. Ross Chastain was like 3rd fastest in practice. He was the guy to look out for. Boom. Just like that. The brake rotors, I guess, I learned that, the way the teams set up their brakes is really up to those teams. So some teams, the way they set it up is different. So you can't say, oh, shoot, that means the whole field may be in trouble if he's blowing his brakes, rotors. They have these little holes near the fenders where the brakes would be to help cool them off. They put tape over them to mess around with the way the brakes are cooled. Why brake rotors failures happen is because the brakes heat up when you're in the turns because you're braking a lot, but then they cool down the straightaways, the wind. And, if you were to heat something up really hotly and then put them in like freezing cold, it expands and it cracks and it breaks. So it's very fascinating. So it was a very fascinating thing to just hear The TV broadcast talk about that, and that was a massive storyline throughout the race. The 71 was also involved in that crash with the one car. Stage 2 was another very eventful um, race, tire strategy. It all happened, man. But then, on that 146 of stage 2, the 3 got spun by the 17. The 47, Rick Styles Jr. was coming down pit road. Well, that made the 6 have to get out of the way. He lost momentum. And then a bunch of cars like the 3 didn't have to avoid that 47, Rick Styles Jr. They had a momentum. And then here came the 3 trying to go below the 6. The 6 of Brad Sowski was keep coming down there. And then I think the 3 checked up. And the 17 behind him of Chris Buescher didn't. The 3 went spinning down the grass, came back up the track, but did not hit anything. Austin did not hit anything. Of course, if you're watching this, you know that what happened later could have been a reason. One of those reasons why what happened later might have been from this incident. It was a big incident. Later on, AJ Allmendinger on that 173. The guy won stage 1. It was impressive. He actually was still up front because he was running third when he blew his brake rotor. His brake rotor exploded in turn 1. Big impacts, man. I couldn't imagine what the drivers' mindsets are going through when they're hearing about all these brake failures, and then boom, it happens to them. And then they have to make a decision. Usually, you would see it like bigger tracks like Pocono. These guys would drive down towards the grass when they blew their brakes, and then they would slide back up and hit the wall hard. Well, now a lot of these drivers learn if they blow their brakes when they're against the wall, they just drive towards the wall to just glide around the wall to not make it such a severe impact. But I was disappointed from the 16 because AJ Allmendinger, for a team that doesn't have much, they have like no Chevy Sport because of their deal with Dodge in the Truck Series, to have that good of a run and have it go kaboom on us. I feel bad with that 16. But still impressive to see the speed they did. We had some good old pit stops, a bunch of 2-tire stops. The 71 had some different strategies there. We saw the 9, the 12. Ryan running fast car all day, was up front. Chase Elliott was really fast. They did a 4-tire stop, but we saw them. They lost some spots. Daniel Suarez, he stayed out on older tires and held off. I think he held off. I forget who he held off there. Held off a bunch of guys to win stage 2, and that was another great strategy call to stay out. Suarez executing his restart. It was 4 to go, and then we had another incident with 3 to go. The 67 got into the back of the 34 of Michael McDowell. The 67 of Corey Heim just misjudged when this 34 was going to break. He was too close to the 34. The 34 went sliding and then came back up into the 67. Corey Heim, we talked about, he was just officiating out, so he's going to go full time. We'll talk about that later. But he still makes some mistakes. He made a mistake, hit the bump at Texas and crashed. Last year at Nashville, he cleared himself into Bragasowski, crashing himself. Heim is fast, aggressive, but still, makes some mistakes. You're like, man, if you're being so highly sought after and hyped up and you're making a mistake where you're just driving a little too aggressively and getting a little too hot into a turn and you just run to the back of someone, I feel like those are moves you can't be making when you're being talked about the way you are. But that was a big incident. Heim said after that, another big mistake on my part. I need to cut that crap out. Sorry, guys. Daniel Suarez won stage 2. I wish I knew who he was racing up front with. Because I just sounded like an idiot when I was trying to figure out who he was up front with, racing with. But then stage 3. That was when we finally saw Denny Hamlin get in the front. He had a 2-tire stop right before the end of stage 2 there, so a lot of the cars that stayed out, like Suarez, they pitted. That was including Austin Cindric in there. So Hamlin takes the lead on lap 192 of the final stage. But then on lap 193, The 6 got spun by the 3. There was a lot of jostling for position. Momentum was lost. Momentum was gained in the back of the pack. And kind of the same way the first incident happened between the 3 car and the 17. It was below the apron. Brad kind of went to the apron and maybe checked up because there was some action right next to him or in front of him. And the 3 got into the back of the 6 and shot the 6 up into the racetrack, into the wall really hard, collected the 2 car. Um, the 3 did get out of the gas, but he was really close to the 6 anyway when the 6 had to check up. The 16, TJ Majors, Bryce Lindsay's spotter, said, the 3 wrecked you on purpose. He's mad from earlier. And then Austin Dillon said, the radio, why did everybody check right there? Was there something going on? The middle right there. I was already on the brake pedal. So Austin Dillon talks about how everyone was checking up there. Austin Dillon never said that he did what he did on purpose. He didn't say I didn't mean to get in the back of him. It was very quiet radio. And a lot of that could be because of, we now know with Ryan Preece, his penalty for wrecking Ty Gibbs was upheld. And that was really because Ryan Preece said that he was going to get back to the 54. So now I think drivers realizing they just can't say that they were going to do something. Now, we don't know if the 3 meant to get in the back because he didn't get out of the gas. But if he really was trying not to hit the 6 on Bragasowski, I felt like he could have really laid off more or used more brake. I think Austin Dillon, he was probably mad about, because the 6 almost cleared him. I mean, the 6 almost blocked him into the grass, the first incident. So interesting to hear. TJ Majors is on the Dale Earnhardt Jr. download. So we'll probably hear a great debate between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and TJ Majors over that incident. Maybe we'll hear something from Austin Dillon this week. Both people have their sides. Of course, Brad even agreed. He felt like he got flat out wrecked there. But it was tight racing, though. Now moving on. The 11 regained the lead on lap 202. And then the 17 got up the track on lap 204 and got into the 23. The 24, Williams Byron also got involved. And then the 23, Will Wallace, after hitting the wall, came back down the racetrack, had no brakes, and hit the 48. Big impacts for the 40, the 48, the 23 there. The 77 just got up into that 17 and washed the 17 up into the 23. It was a big impact for that 23 car. And then the 23 had no brakes, and he was sliding down the racetrack, and the 48 just clipped him. Those were all 3 big incidents. Of course, the 24 and the 23 are in in a much different points position than what the 48 is. The 48 is got a lot more work to do. The 23 and the 24 are both inside the top 16, so they're trying to build these gaps from the cut line. But now this big wreck hurts them. But actually, I believe the 24 actually gained a spot in the point standings. But you feel bad for Bill Wallace. He's just had some very bad luck. I think he was involved in an accident last week too. I know he got damaged in a restart. So he's not been, the momentum is not there for that 23 team. Now, moving on. I want to make sure, there was another incident on lap 214 later on. Looked like the 42 was getting loose, hit this bump, exiting turn 4, and the 77 host car got up into the 42. The TV booth kind of made it seem like, because the 42 got out of the gas and the 77 was still in the gas, that's why the 77 got up into the 42. I don't think people are going to look at host car and say, oh my gosh, host car wrecked another person again. It's just one of those situations where one guy is getting out of the gas because they're tight and one guy is in the gas trying to keep the momentum going. I think it's one of the more of those racing deals, you say. Now, lap 217, there's a pit stop. The 12 takes right side tires. The 35 and the 38 Zane Smith. They go and choose to pit after this caution, and it was a very tight window on fuel. If they were going to pit, they were going to have to stay out and run really long. Well, we had then a restart. The 11 takes the lead, and then on lap two, that when Denny Hamlin took the lead, that was lap 221. Well, the 20 car Christopher Bell passed the 11 car for the lead on lap 246, and then about 10-ish laps later, we had pit stops. The 11 pitted on lap 258. The 19 Chase Briscoe pitted on lap 259. And then the 20 car of Chase Briscoe pitted on the 20 car of Christopher Bell pitted on lap 260. The 20 kept the lead from the 19 and the 11. And then what the goal was the 38, the 12, and the 35. The goal was to run. They were going to pretty much run 85 laps almost on a full tank of gas. That was when they pitted. It was a 300 lap 217, 300 lap race. They were also going to have a tire disadvantage. And to make it short and sweet, the 12 and the 35 both bailed on their strategy, realized they weren't doing a good enough job saving fuel, and they were going to get swallowed up anyway, so they chose to pit. Well, the 30 of Zane Smith ran long. The 20 car, of course, ran him down. We were wondering how close to the finish was the 38 going to be able to keep the lead from the 20. Well, with 13 laps to go, the 20 passed the 38 for the lead, but at that same time, the 17 of the 17 of Chris Buescher blew his brake rotor. And then we had a caution. And that's where then, hey, the 38 was going in the pit under yellow. We also saw, I think the 38 was one of the only main guys that pitted. Of course, Bell, Briscoe, and Hamlin, they stayed out. And then that's where we got that incredible 4-to-go finish. And spectacular finish, like we talked about. But then there was a massive wreck on the final lap. Looked like the 12 was trying to push the 9 to the finish line, and he got the 9 out of shape, and the 9 then came down into the 45 and hooked the 45 up into the outside wall hard. Now, right when the 45 got hooked, he crossed the finish line, and right when he got hooked, he was out of the gas. So I felt bad. I mean, that was a massive hit, and he was also probably not expecting it at all. I heard from all the radio stuff, the 12 went over to the wreck in the garage after the race to apologize. The 9 also understood that Blaine was just trying to push him. Everyone seems to be all on good terms. Everyone's okay. But definitely a very scary incident. Especially, I guess rare to see mistakes made like that by so talented of a driver that's Blaney. But it's also a racing deal and all that. They're all just trying to get one. They're all just trying to push at the end, as what they said. They're just trying to get all you can get on that final turn coming to the finish line. But luckily everyone was okay. Now the finishing results from this race: Denny Hamlin wins the race, led the most laps by 1 lap. Kyle Larson led 56 laps. Denny Hamlin led 57 laps. Christopher Bell finished second, led 29 laps. Definitely wasn't the right decision to overdrive turn 1. I think Bell was saying he was expecting Denny to do what he was been doing by overdriving the turn and kind of squeezing the 20. Well, he didn't do that. Denny just rolled the bottom like he said, and that was the winning move. Chase Briscoe finishes third. A good day for Chase Briscoe. Good for points. Led 14 laps. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., dude. What a day, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Non-synergy throwback for Kyle Busch. I mean, this is for a team that's a single car team and doesn't even have anywhere near the support of these other teams. And just also the way less employees. Really impressive. Really cool. Really freaking cool. Like, that's amazing for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That has to be a massive confidence booster for Ricky. One of his best. I don't know. This might be his best oval finish um, for high-act racing. I'm not sure, besides super speedways, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that for certain. Fifth, Shane Van Gisbergen. He led 12 laps in stage one. He held off Kyle Larson for a little bit. Shane Van Gisbergen, I'm not a full-blown believer yet that he can win on an oval. I still feel like on pace, if he's going to win an oval, it'll be off strategy. Trackhouse does not have the pace, especially against Joe Gibbs Racing. But when he was out there leading, he looked like he been doing this for a long time. Looked like he knew what to do, the way he needed, where he needed to put his car at to dirty up the air for the 5. He was on tire deficit. He finished 11th last week at Charlotte. So this is what you needed. Shane, we know he's going to score a lot of points on the road courses, but can he score some solid points on the ovals to put himself in position to make that top 16? Finishes like this, you're going to put yourself in a really good spot to make that top 16. Moving on, Tyrek, like we talked about, was in a massive crash there at the end. Was okay. Hamlin ate into his lead. Hamlin now has a less than 100-point lead in the points, but still a solid day, finishing 6th. Chase Elliott, another great day. 7th place, consistency. Ryan Blaney, 8th place. Ryan Blaney was up front, led laps in this race. At times we thought maybe he would have been the guy to beat. But with some of the pit stops, kind of lost some track position with the way that the tire strategy worked for them and wasn't really able to regain control of this race. Zane Smith, another great finish, led some laps. How many laps did Zane Smith lead? 18 laps. Ryan Blaney led 46 laps. These are days that Zane Smith's gotta have, and these are wins, I feel like, for that team. But Zane is driving the crap out of this race car. He still has a bit to go to make that top 16, but if he can create some momentum with this and continue to put some top 10s together, watch out for him. Carson Osvalar finishes 10th. They had some slow pit stops. He got into some cars. He was an up and down day. So to come out and finish 10th, impressive. Let's do a little rapid fire. Eric Jones, incredible run for him. 11th. 12th, Ty Dillon. Wow. 12th for Ty Dillon. That's amazing. 13th for Ty Gibbs. 14th, Joey Logano. 15th, Michael McDowell. 16th, Noah Gregson. 17th, Riley Herbst. 18th, Austin Hill. 19th, Daniel Schwartz. 20th, Todd Gilman. 21st, Cole Custer. 22nd, Cody Ware. 23rd, Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, I believe, had a tire go down on the final restart. He led 56 laps. At times, you're like, man, he can be the guy. He might be the golden position to win this race. But he went from going to have at least a really good finish to finishing 23rd. So a missed opportunity, or I can't really say missed opportunity because I don't know what caused the tire to go down. But a disappointing finish, I guess you should say, for Larson there. John Hunter Nemechek, 24th. 25th, Corey Heim. Corey Heim finished 25th in this race. Made that mistake getting into the 34. Very rare to see him make that mistake. But he was in the mix. He was in the top 10 at times. He's still trying to figure out this Cup Series car. I know he said that. But big week for him. Officially, it was announced that Corey Heim will be full-time next year for 2311 Racing. The official statement said he'll be in the 35, but still unknown. I think it'd be cool if he brought the 67 full-time. I feel like that kind of fits that number. Corey Heim, Denny Hamlin says that, Corey Heim is a generational talent, and these guys only come around once in a while. Corey Heim had 25 Truck Series victories. That's 5th all time, and he won last year's championship. The biggest question is, like, when's he going to go Cup Series racing? And now we know. Now, he's still making those mistakes, though. You don't like to see that. And I guess it's just kind of rare to see him make those mistakes because he's very mistake-free in the Truck Series. But this is a whole different level. I'll be excited to see, how he continues to improve throughout this year with the races he has remaining, but I think it's well deserved. Definitely, probably a couple of years too late for him for his talent level. Now, I'm not one of those guys that's ready to put Corey Heim as generational talent. I don't like that we label guys that when they're dominating in a lower tier series, like the Truck Series or Ryan Series, because the Cup Series level is a whole different level. But congrats to Corey Heim. That means Riley Herbst will be out of a ride at 2011. The reports are from Jordan Bianchi that Riley Herbst will race for Legacy Motor Club in a third car, because Legacy Motor Club will be in a third, will have a third charter. So if those are all true, I think that's going to be a great fit for Riley. But of course, Riley is going to be losing a ride that would have been his best opportunity. But Riley has, I would say, just not performed to the liking, and I think 2011 knows that Corey Heim is the better driver and the best fit for their team to be successful. But you definitely wish the best of luck for Riley, and hopefully he gets the opportunity to race in Legacy Motor Club. And the Legacy Motor Club is a team that I think is on the rise, and they're getting better as a team. You know, they're kind of their own team. They don't really have an alliance with Jugos Racing. They're kind of doing it their way. They're building their team their way. And this weekend was a good run, you know, for Eric Jones. And John Hernandez finished 24th. He got spun out. Legacy Motor Club is showing some really good glimpses of speed. And I think they're going to continue to, over time, get better. So I think that fit for Riley could be a good fit. Moving on, Austin Cindric was involved in a wreck. Austin Hill finished 27th. He was involved in a wreck as well. Or not, I don't know if he was actually, no, never mind. Was he involved in a wreck? I think so. He had the issues. Chad Fincham was involved in a, he had issues. Chris Buescher, William Byron, Josh Berry, Bubba Walls, Alex Bowman, Brad Gosowski, A.J. Allmendinger, Ryan Priest, Ross Chastain, and Connor Zilch. Those guys were all involved in accidents. We now look at the point standings. Tyler Reddick only has now a 97-point lead over Denny Hamlin. Denny inching closer. If Denny continues to get those wins and earn, 15 more points, or really, I guess you could say 20 more points than second place, he will really dig deep into that gap. And now Denny has even a bit of a bigger gap, has about an 80-ish point lead over third place Ryan Blaney. Chase Elliott in fourth, he gained a spot in the point standings. Ty Gibbs, fifth, lost a spot. Kyle Larson, sixth, stayed even. Christopher Bell, seventh, gained a spot. Chris Buescher, eighth, lost a spot. Carson Hocevar, ninth, didn't lose any spots. Daniel Suarez, 10th, didn't lose any spots. William Byron, he crashed. He's in 11th and gained a spot. Shane Van Gisbergen gained 2 spots. Van Gisbergen is 12th in the standings. Brad Gosowski, after being involved in that wreck, lost 2 spots. Chase Briscoe, 14th, gained a spot. Bill Wallace, 15th, lost a spot. And then Austin Cindric, in 16th, gained a spot. Even though he was involved in the wreck, Ryan Priest, 17th, was also, I don't even know if I think he had issues, some brake issues too. I didn't talk about him much, but he had some brake issues and they pulled it into the garage. They did not want, I guess they weren't going to risk it and just have Priest right out there until he blew and hit a wall hard. Priest lost a spot. Logano, 18th, didn't gain a spot, just stayed even. McDowell in 19th. Zane Smith in 20th. Eric Jones in 21st. They all gained 1 spot, and A.J. Allmendinger lost 3 spots. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 23rd gained 3 spots. That's a big day for them. Moving on, this overall race. A lot of lead changes. 31 lead changes, guys. Wow. It definitely felt like there was a lot going on, and that makes sense. 15 drivers led at least 1 lap or more. Hamlin led the most laps, led 1 more lap than Larson. Larson led 56. Now, there was 11 cautions for 77 laps. 77 laps. That's 23 laps short of um, more than 25% of this race being under caution. But yeah, there's a lot of instances, a lot of attrition, a lot of brake issues, different tire strategy. I think it was an entertaining race. I thought this race was awesome. Of course, it still seemed like dirty air. Track position was still key. But if your car was good enough, over time you can get there. You can get side by side. You can set up the pass. We saw that with Bell and Hamlin, and Larson and SVG. And later on, we saw Briscoe and Bell. If you were a good enough car, you could make the moves for the lead. You could make passes. Restarts were insane. We saw 3, 4, 5 wide at times. Really, really awesome. This package seems to work, but like I said, still hard to pass at times. Can get a little single file. Dirty air seems to be a factor. And tire wear, it seemed like two tires were better than going for forward 4. Um, Still been got to work on that tire wear, but overall, it was an awesome race. The Prime Video broadcast, guys, was amazing. Martin was in uh, as one of the guest analysts in the studio for pre-race and post-race. I thought he was really good, entertaining, fun guy. I think Mark fits in naturally. They're going to have next week Martin Truex Jr. Prime just does an incredible job. Commercial-free racing there for the last 70 laps, whatever it was. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte, Adam Alexander, they're just so freaking good. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is incredible when he does. He always has those jump scares, though. You gotta be careful with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'll be like, oh my gosh, there's a crash. I just love it. It just, oh, what was it? Who crashed? That's what I love when Dale Earnhardt Jr. does it. And then Steve Letarte did an incredible job breaking down the different fuel strategy that the 38 was trying, the 12 was trying, and how quick was the 20 going to get to the 38. With laps to go, I think Letarte is really talented in that. Of course, he's a crew chief. That's what he did before he became in the broadcast booth. He was a crew chief for Hendrick Motorsports. They're really, really good. Danielle Trana is amazing. The pit reporters, Marty Snyder, Kim Kuhn, Trevor Bain, uh, Corey LaJoy. Of course, Corey LaJoy gets a lot of hate. I think there's a lot of things he said that make him look bad. Not shine a good light on him, but I think this TV gig for him, he's very good. Asks good questions, very entertaining to listen to it, and fits in really, really well. So Prime Video as a whole is, to me, the best coverage in NASCAR. Commercial-free racing, man. The booth, the chemistry, all around is amazing. Looking forward to next week at Michigan. Love to see Martin Truex finally. We could actually see him in a really different setting. And we haven't seen Martin Truex in a very long time. So the Cup race, Rollie Rate. Rollie Rate, I give it like an 8.4. I really love this race, guys. I enjoyed it. Now, of course, it was long. I'm tired. I bet you that the TV ratings will be a little bit affected because it was a late one. The rain really got affected. But the crowd was great. Sold out crowd. I don't know. I'm probably forgetting something I should say. But that was a great racing. That was awesome. Now, a Riot Series race. Justin Allgaier got the win. It was 16 laps to go. Made the race winning pass. Over the 19 of Brent Cruz. Really impressive run by Brent Cruz, but just didn't have the speed of that 7 car of Justin Allgaier. This is the earliest that Justin Allgaier has won 4 races in his career in the Riot Series. I think he turns 40 this week, so still doing it at a very high level. When did he lead? Allgaier led 15 laps exactly, and then Brent Cruz led 45. And then we also have Jesse Love. Jesse Love, dominant car, had to pit under green. I guess he had a loose wheel, but it sounded like the wheel was getting loose by itself, and the wheels were actually tight. They put like spacers in the wheel well after coming down pit road. I don't know how it works. I don't know what the spacers do and all that. But he was down in the car, has to pit, unscheduled pit stop. Really feel bad for Jesse Love. He's had some very disappointing results. Of course, Walton's good. He blew the final turn and allowed his friend to get the win. But still a solid day for love, at least something at least to hang our hat on, but I know he really wants to win. But Brent Cruz, man, keeps showing at 18 years old, he's got a bright future in the sport. Really good racer, very clean racer. Top 15, all guy first. Second, Brent Cruz. Third, William Swalch. Fourth, Sam Mayer. Fifth, Brandon Jones. Sixth, Corey Day. Seventh, Carson Wappel. Eighth, Kyle Larson. Ninth, Taylor Gray. 10th, Sammy Smith. 11th, Austin Hill. 12th, Parker Retzlaff. 13th, Ryan Sieg. 14th, Dean Thompson. And 15th, Sheldon Creed. Cleetus McFarland finished 35th, 6 laps down. Cleetus wasn't as much in the news, but he did spin out in stage 1 trying to battle the 42 to get the lucky dog. He spun out doing that. And then late in the race, during his green flag pit stops, I heard from him. He made his first green flag pit stop good, but I believe they had a penalty for equipment outside the box. So they had to come down and serve that penalty. Well, when Cleetus was trying to come down pit road, the gear, the way he ate the gear, whatever when it came to the gear, he spun out entering pit road, had a commitment cone violation, crossed that little red square there. So he had to come down and do it again, and then a pass through penalty. So he made, I guess you could say, 2 mistakes, and that second mistake was maybe happened because his team made a mistake. I don't know. Is NASCAR going to improve Cleetus now for Daytona and O'Reilly, which I know that's what Cleetus wants to do. He wants to run those super speedways. We'll see. Not as bad as Rockingham, but still, I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I think that will improve him, but we'll see. He this week he at Michigan. I'll be running that 4 truck for Nissan Motorsports. We'll get to see Cleetus McFarland again in a truck at Michigan, hauling the mail, 200 miles an hour. That would be cool to see him back in the wheel. There's not much to say about Cleetus. Over 9,000 viewers on his onboard, so great for the sport. I'll be curious if NASCAR does approve him for those super speedways, which Cleetus wants to run in the RI series for RCR. Jesse Love won stage 1, Allgaier won stage 2. Great racing there between Allgaier and Jesse Love for the stage 2 victory. That was spectacular racing and really clean racing. There was only 12 lead changes and 7 drivers led laps. And there was only 2 cautions for 15 laps. Cleetus actually spun out right when stage 1 was ending. So really, the race really flew well. That O'Reilly Series race, it flew by well. It was really good. And then in the Truck Series race, a last lap pass for Lane Riggs around the inside, around Rajah Caruth. It was a big tire difference. Rajah tried a different strategy. Qualifying was rained out, so the start line was set by a metric. And the 7 crashed last weekend from Corey Day, so the 7 start late and deep in the field. So the 7 tried a strategy where they pitted with, I think, around like 71-ish laps to go to get to stay up front and try to control the lead up front. Where the 34, who won both stages dominant, struggled on some restarts after that. And but then with multiple cautions, he chose to pit with 29 laps to go and put some new tires on there. Riggs did, and then he just kind of was hauling the mail through the field and drove through the field and got the wear on the last lap pass. There was just nothing Cruz did. His truck wasn't as fast, and also he was on a tire deficit. Felt bad for Ken Honeycutt. He was running 3rd and then had an engine issue, electrical issue, I believe. Where did Honeycutt even finish? He finished 27th, man. He was actually ahead of the 34. The 34 really struggled on a restart. I thought, man, the 11, King Honeycutt, is in the catbird seat. But then the electrical issue happens, and then it ends his opportunity to win the race. Still a fun race. Still a good finish, of course. Top 15, Lane Riggs first. Second, Rajah Caruth. Third, Chandler Smith. 4th, Ross Chastain up there. 5th, Tyler Ingram. 6th, Stuart Friesen. 7th, Grant Enfinger. 8th, Christian Eckes. 9th, Giovanni Ruggiero. 10th, Daniel Dye. 11th, Parker Retzlaff. 12th, Ty Majeski. 13th, Brandon Jones. 14th, Andreas Perez de Lar. And 15th, Daniel Hemrick. Any cool stats here? Only 5 lead changes with 3 leaders. This race also got kind of pushed back later because of the weather. I don't even think it started until like 10:30ish. Late one for a lot of those truckers. 8 cautions for 48 laps. Those are lower tier series thoughts. Wow, what a racing weekend. Nashville, I think, has a great home. The fans turned out. Of course, the weather was playing a factor, but great racing all around. We go to Michigan. The fastest oval we go to, we're going to see speeds over 200 miles an hour, so should be a very exciting one. Lots to talk about. Of course, I did the best job I could to talk about my thoughts, but I'm excited to hear what other people thought about the racing weekend. Listen to all those good podcasts. Should be fun. Overall, guys, thanks for watching. Means the world if you did. Means the world that you liked or commented. Yeah, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. And stay tuned to all my short form content on all my social media platforms. Goodbye, y'all. Let's roll.